Hello, this is Safety Condensate Platform. We'll be talking on construction related issues on HSE, on health, safety, and environment. My name is Alapa Emogene. Generally, HSE related issues basically cuts across health, safety, and environment. Okay, so and that is why I say on my slide HSE on its general term has to do with ensuring a safe and healthy work environment. Okay, in accomplishing the above stated definition, okay, there's the need to have a workable HSE plan. Okay, HSE plan is a document that briefly describes procedures or steps, okay, put in place to actualize the aims and objectives of health, safety, and environment in the organization and by extension the project. In summary, you basically have the what. Okay, what are you supposed to put in place, what are you supposed to do, okay, in driving or ensuring a safe work environment, okay, either on a construction site, a work site, on a workplace, what are the things you are required or expected to put in place. Then how do you go about, okay, implementing, okay, and actualizing what you've drawn up, what you've decided to put in place to ensure health and safety. That is basically what an HSE plan stands for. Okay, all set HSE objectives are expected to be implemented with the aim of ensuring safety and health within an environment. Okay, in the developed countries, there are OSHA, Occupational Safety and Health Administration standards that are binding by laws to be adhered in all work environments. Okay, OSHA principles are practiced in safety conscious environment. Okay, basically OSHA is synonymous to to controls, okay, that are put in place and regulated in operational safety and health in the US of A. Basically, in the US of A, that is where you have the tag OSHA. Okay, OSHA. Okay, Occupational Safety and Health Administration. Okay, in the US of A, they have an agency called OSHA. So they have simple safety standards and that are basically regulated by the agency called OSHA. Okay. Now, there's a need to put into practice standard HSE requirements as obtained all over the world in our construction activities. Ensuring occupational health and safety is a responsibility of every stakeholder in the construction industry. The consultants, the contractors, the clients are all expected to put measures in place to satisfy the internal and local regulatory bodies, so agencies, and without exemptions, the statutory requirements so as to primarily set off the drive for safety compliance. So basically, this is usually driven and kickstarted by all stakeholders, and the major stakeholders have to do with, in terms of construction, the major stakeholders have to do with the clients, the contractors, the consultants, okay, and by extension, even the locals, the community that the construction activity will be carried out. You need to bring them on board, in discussing the way forward in ensuring a safe and healthy work environment. Okay, HSE related issues cuts across the pre-development, the development, construction, and post-construction. Okay, at the pre-development stage, the HSE issues basically are the failure to carry out necessary impact analysis such as EIA, environment or environmental impact assessment, failure to comply with related standards on life and fire safety with reference to regulatory and internal standards, failure to capture into designs green building concepts. Okay, so these are usually issues that you must look into at the pre-development stage, at the design stage, you understand. Failure to engage contractors and consultants with HSE practices and orientation, failure of contractors to submit HSE plans, failure of clients making demand of HSE plans and its review. Where these things are not driven or are not taken into cognizance, you have basic and fundamental HSE related issues right from the scratch. Okay, and that is the pre-development stage we are talking about. A correction of the above stated will definitely improve on HSE at the pre-development stage. Now, the HSE issues at the development or the construction stage. The refusal to recognize the significance of HSE practice on the site during construction activities will definitely lead to serious litigation, liability issues as a result of accidents from job-related activities on the site, and thus takes its toll on the overall budgeted cost and agreed time of closing the project, which ultimately rubs off on the income and image of the client. Okay, so it is very, very costly if by the time you've got into the execution stage, the construction stage proper, and you still do not take into cognizance health and safety, okay, you expose yourself to all kinds of litigations, you expose yourself to all kinds of fines, and you need to avoid these financial impacts on your project. The worst of these has to do with incident and accidents that will crop up by reason of negligence on the part of the contractors or the stakeholders in implementing basic safety standards. A refusal to build on established HSE practice at the pre-construction and construction stages in terms of lack of maintenance and sustenance of life and fire protection systems, green building concept would at the end lead to a collapse of these systems and a negative impact on life. Okay, very common issues on the construction site that needs to be attended to. Very, very common issues. By reason of my years of experience on construction safety, I've come to realize that these itemized factors are very, very common issues on construction sites. Welfare issues, okay, occupational health issues, waste and pollution management issues, life and fire safety issues, general safe work practices, monitoring and okay. So for welfare, I've stated a few things to drive home my point on welfare. Okay, workers and visitors to the site must be able to access or make use of clean and well-maintained toilet facilities. Okay, by standard, the ratio of toilet facility to person on site is supposed to be 1 to 20 or 1 to 25. Okay, poor toilet facilities will definitely expose you. Okay, well-ventilated and clean changing rooms should be provided on the site. Portable water and clean eating area in safe location on the site must be provided. Okay. In occupational health, though this is interwoven with virtually all activities or jobs on the site, there's a need to have on the site a first aid station and a trained administrator to attend to health issues. Resident qualified nurse could also attend to health issues. For waste pollution management, by reason of works on site, various kinds of waste would always be generated: solid waste, construction waste, sanitary waste, use of spent oils as it relates to automotive, dust, noise are examples of waste generated, and if not properly managed, will ultimately affect the health of all on the site and also degrade the environment. Waste management practices such as waste prevention, reduction, reuse, and recycling should be incorporated into our process and designs on the site. For life and fire safety, there should be emergency communication and response plan that describes procedures to adhere to in emergency situations and communicated to or known to all on the site as a measure to attend to any emergency issues. Clearly marked muster points, position multipurpose fire extinguishers, wireless alarm system could be installed to boost the emergency response plan. It's all about ensuring safety of all on the works. General safe work practice, which is very, very, very important. Safe work practice has to do with safety procedures that ought to be adopted in carrying out tasks, jobs on the site with an aim of protection from the associated hazards and risks that will be exposed to. Everyone that gains access to the site is exposed to various hazards and risks. Safety generally starts from the main entrance to the site, and thus site safety instruction must be mounted at the main entrance to the site and must be Now, all civil, mechanical, and electrical jobs do have safety procedures to be complied with. Before the commencement of any job, a job hazard analysis must be done, and thus necessary controls and protection must be put in place. Minimum safety requirement on the job is the use of safety gears, also known as PPEs. These PPEs are the protective clothing, etc. Workmen generally put up reluctance in the use of these safety gears. This attitude must always be corrected and not tolerated. Some samples of unsafe practice. You can see clearly in this picture, this is a work platform. This work platform is not safe for the workman, or the workman in particular that is on this platform is not safe. So these are things that ought not to be tolerated. You know, this is a basic deviation from safe work practice. Okay, where you tolerate this, you're exposing this worker to the risk of falls. This is a very, very unsafe practice, unsafe act. Okay. Now, if you look at this other picture, you see this guy carrying out a welding activity, making use of the minimum protection for himself with the use of appropriate safety gears. Okay, so this is a good safe work practice because he is complying with the use of safety gears, the use of PPEs. Okay, so with this, incident or accidents is almost zero for this particular workman. All right. Failure to comply with these basic safety procedures has led to so many accidents on the site. Conditions and positions of work must be taken into cognizance, such as working at heights, confined places, etc. Corresponding caution signage, protection, and permits must be put in place. Continual trainings and toolbox of safety meetings must be held with the workers so as to drive in safety culture and address any safety issues at the earliest time. Housekeeping practice must be sustained to prevent trip and okay. If you look at this picture, you see some workmen working at considerable height. So the stakeholder, the client, the contractor, the consultant take full responsibility for the safety of these workmen on the site. So ordinarily, basic hazard identification, basic risk assessment ought to have been carried out prior the start off of this activity. Okay, where the hazards are identified, risks are identified, controls are put in place for the protection of these workmen so as to mitigate the risks they are going to be exposed to. One of the risks they will be exposed to, which is very, very clear from this considerable height, are risks of force. The risk of force. Okay, so there are various recommendations that could be added to and implemented to ensure that these guys, these workmen, do not fall from such an height and get themselves injured or even die on the site. On a work site, your target, your objective should be zero accident. And in achieving zero accident, you must ensure that your workmen comply with basic safety procedures, comply with basic safety requirements. At the minimum, make use of fall protection equipment, fall arrest systems, okay, so as to prevent or mitigate the risks of falls that they are exposed to. Okay, these are some other fall protection or fall prevention systems in place. Okay, here you have a guardrail, okay, to prevent falls. Here you have this worker, okay, strapped with body harness and lifeline, okay, as a fall arrest system, okay, to mitigate the risks of falls. Now, poor material handling on the site becomes hazardous to the workers and the environment. All hazardous materials on the site, such as the flammables, etc., must be handled with reference to available material safety data sheets. Okay, lifting of materials must be done with machine equipment that is in good state, and manual lifting should be minimal or safely carried out. Where possible, lockout and tag out. But all these I've just itemized and written out are basically safe work practices that must be adhered to if we must ensure a safe and healthy work. Okay, because you cannot rule out, depending on the projects on the site, you cannot rule out having hazardous materials. Okay, so once they are there, you must have safety data sheets, that describes the materials that you brought to the site and how safe you could handle such materials. Okay, what are the controls you must put in place to protect everyone on the site, especially the workers that will be handling such materials. You know, we must have all. Okay, these are just some of the HSE related issues. Okay, you can see some of the PPEs that you could and you should use to mitigate the risks that the workers will be exposed to. Okay, some common risks on the site: asphyxiation, respiratory infections, heat rash, sunburn, back injuries, fall from heights, fall into unprotected trenches, electric shocks, electric burn. You know, top accident types on the site, by my experience on the site, going in this order: you have falls, you have struck by incidents, struck against. Okay, top occupational health issues, deafness, vibration syndromes, back injuries, musculoskeletal disorders. Okay, monitoring and reporting, very, very common and very, very important on every construction site. Contractors are expected to designate safety officers that ensure compliance with HSE practice on the site in relation to safe work practices, waste generation, transportation, disposal, impact on the environment. Clear reporting must be periodically made to capture the above stated, and the documentation of reported near misses, accidents, investigation on accidents, lost hours, etc. The overall aim of this is to measure HSE performance on the site and identification of ways to improve on this. Employers' responsibilities: evaluate contractor safety performance and programs, periodically evaluate contractors' performance. Contractors' responsibility: applicable provisions of emergency action plan, development of safe work practices, maintain contractor injury and illness log, advise employer of any unique hazards, ensure each is trained in work practices necessary for safety, perform work. Safety first. It cannot be overemphasized. Safety is everybody's responsibility, but your safety is responsibility. Thank you. If you found this presentation useful, educative, kindly hit the thumbs up button. Kindly give me a feedback. Kindly drop some comments on my YouTube page.